1 fall, and it's between two FWA Academy stars. Introducing first.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special FWA Academy event. Ring of Honor is in the building, and this evening we have Austin Aries, Bryan Danielson, the Briscoe brothers, Jimmy Rave, Roderick Strong and BJ Whitmer all poised to compete this fine evening. It's a one-of-a-kind event. But opening up the show is young Wade Fitzgerald of the Entourage, an impressive young newcomer, and who knows, perhaps in the future we could see Fitzgerald himself taking on some of the finest of Ring of Honor. Of course, over for a tour of the UK, their very first. A revolutionary tour in which their first port of call is right here. The FWA Academy, the blueprint for the future of British wrestling. And tonight you will see these American stars do battle against the best that the Academy has to offer.
And his opponent.
And darting through the crowd, it is the flamboyant young Jake McCluskey, a happy-go-lucky lad with a laid-back attitude and bags of energy. McCluskey looks happy to be there, and the fans appear very happy to see him, performing that lovely little entrance lap through the crowd. And leaping into the ring. Perfect balance there, as you can see, tumbling through the air.
Introducing first on my left from Portsmouth. He is a former under-18s British Taekwondo and mixed martial arts champion, Wade Fitzgerald. And his opponent, Jake McCluskey.
Come on, people, let's go. And Jake McCluskey, flamboyant and energetic, a stark contrast to Wade Fitzgerald's very pure stylings, and a clothesline shot ducked by McCluskey, getting booted in the leg multiple times by Wade Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald taking no quarter, bashing that leg out of the way, and McCluskey coming off somewhat worse for wear after that exchange. Collar and elbow tie up again, Fitzgerald ducking down, looking straight for the Jujigatame. But But McCluskey making it straight to the ropes, and I don't know if McCluskey was expecting such a focused onslaught from Wade Fitzgerald this early. But that is what Fitzgerald is all about. His training is his life. This man is as dedicated an athlete as you will ever see. And here we can see him dedicated to obtaining that victory, now looking on there with the Wakikatame armbar, driving straight down. And Fitzgerald again causing McCluskey to use those ropes, and McCluskey looking for the energy of the crowd. She's ready to feed off these two going in, but this time McCluskey caught in a hammerlock and taken straight down, stomach first, by Fitzgerald, who is by no means messing around.
So come on, everyone, come on!
And again, taken straight down to the mat is young McCluskey. Fitzgerald maintaining his focus and his composure in that hammerlock. McCluskey so far unsuccessful in finding a way out, but there we go, just about sending young Fitzgerald down to the floor, using his momentum and sending Fitzgerald through the middle rope, and now offering him back in. But Fitzgerald having none of it, charging in with a lockup and being flung out of the way. Clothesline, however, missing its mark, and an Irish whip reversed by Fitzgerald, who's leaping, ducking and scoring a drop kick. Only for McCluskey to retaliate with one of his own. And McCluskey now, the fun and games are over. He's had enough, and goodness me, carrying Fitzgerald to the corner. But Fitzgerald blocking a shoulder with some of those vicious strikes. And again, using those educated feet of his. But a roll up by McCluskey out of nowhere, and a very wide positioning of the legs. Looking for a sunset flip, but my God, there's the knockout kick. Straight to the head.
1, 2.
McCluskey almost out on his feet. The knockout kick. Hold on just a second. Incredible resolve from this young man. Leaping through and now taken into that Wakikatame armbar once more. Rolled up there by McCluskey. This action fast and furious. I'm amazed at the resolve of McCluskey managing to survive that knockout kick. Fitzgerald must not have got as much of it as we've seen before. It's caused the knockouts, of course, of Harry Mills and Justin Richards, to name but a few.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Go on stage.
Now, but being taken straight back down again is young McCluskey.
Come on, everyone. Come on, people.
As these two very young but extremely talented young athletes do battle. And there we go, McCluskey scoring with a head scissors. And leaping up into the air with a sky-high Rana. Before being dropped toe-holded straight down into the middle turnbuckle. And Wade Fitzgerald leaping in and bashing him round the head with a drop kick. Another vicious boot. And an Irish whip in. Fitzgerald leaping up with a knee. And a vicious kick to the head, my God. Another, how much more? How much more can Jake McCluskey withstand? staggering, barely on his feet, a back fist. And I truly think McCluskey is out on his feet. Fitzgerald with a vaulting Hurricane Rana.
One.
Hold on just a second. That's LT Summers, the man we saw debut at the last event. And just a second. This is completely out of order. What on earth is going on? LT Summers with both men lifted in. Oh my God! What on earth? One part Emerald Fusion. One part Kryptonite Crunch. I mean, my God. What on earth? LT Summers making his presence felt. And my God. In what a way. An enormous maneuver the likes of which I have never seen. And both wrestlers down, and I'm not surprised. And an unfortunate and shocking ending to an otherwise competitive matchup between these two. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Brum making his way around ringside for what promises to be his most high-profile matchup yet, and the opening match of this FWA Academy versus Ring of Honor Supercard. And Jamie Brum taking on Jimmy Rave of the Embassy, and Jamie Brum with that toilet roll, showing that he knows exactly what to do with it. And Jimmy Rave, if he thinks that by travelling to the UK he can escape the barrage of toilet paper that has plagued his career in the recent year, I believe he may prove sadly mistaken. It appears that Jamie Brum has come armed, and Prince Nana and Jimmy Rave may well have that to contend with. Here he is. With that leering smirk on his face, Jimmy Rave, disdainful of the fans at ringside. And my goodness me, what was that? It's begun already. Good Lord. A rain of paper, and one of them catching Jimmy Rave. My God, the cameraman just getting a blasting. And there is toilet paper everywhere. And Jimmy Rave successfully catching one, faking out the fan and hurling it back. My goodness me. Prince Nana trying to console him, holding back, and there is paper flying all over the place.
Come over there and smack the taste out of your food.
And again, the fans of the FWA Academy really giving Jimmy Rave a good sing to and a friendly Hayling entrance. Good God. And there's another.
Don't you go there. Don't
I think
you
Jimmy
dare
Rave
go
caught
there.
on the jaw there. Let's hope he doesn't have to pull out due to injury.
You think this is funny, huh? You think this is funny? Huh? You think this is funny?
Introducing first on my right, from London, weighing 180 pounds, Jamie Brum! And his opponent,
Jamie Brum looking fit and ready to go.
representing the embassy, from Ghana, weighing 200 pounds, he's the crown jewel, Jimmy Rave!
And again, the fans really enjoying the chance to hurl whatever they can at Jimmy Rave,
Quick, Jimmy, huh?
who incensed is hurling it back. But my goodness me, the match now underway. Rave versus Brum. And we've got some fantastic aim from some of the fans here. Rave getting caught square in the back. And the embassy getting a warm welcome as they debut in the FWA Academy.
Ignore them.
These two tying up now.
There you go, son.
Rave and Brum. Brum sent off but scoring with a lovely shoulder block, and Jimmy Rave straight to the outside, having none of that. Jamie Brum, however, celebrating atop the middle rope. As well he might. We've seen a great deal from Jamie Brum, who's wrestled a number of high-profile matches throughout his career. We saw him debut against Alex Shane, in which he put in an incredible performance, and we've seen him more recently take on LT Summers in his debut. Collar and elbow tie up now, and Jamie Brum looking for that wrist lock. He gets it, but Jimmy Rave, suspicion of a pull of the hair perhaps, and there, no, definitely there by Rave, who lets go, and raking the face of Jamie Brum viciously. Continuing to get riled by the fans in attendance. And this is why it's so great to be at an FWA Academy event live.
Show this stupid fool, huh?
Wrist lock and an Irish whip reversed by Jamie Brum, who scores with an arm drag, sizing up his opponent and latching on a headlock beautifully. Another hard shoulder tackle, but Jamie Brum latching on another headlock. Shot off, and again shoulder tackle. Jamie Brum looking for the headlock, and another. Brum really taking it to Rave, and now he's got the wrist lock. Now he's latching it on properly, and Rave is down and not enjoying himself.
No! Tell me to shut up! You see what he's doing illegally? Illegally he's doing this!
Brum tweaking the wrist lock. And Rave reversing very nicely. I might begrudgingly add into a wrist lock of his own. And a point of the elbow strike right to the joint of the elbow. Jamie Brum contemplating using the ropes there, but blocking over and twisting round, and the pressure now once more applied to Jimmy Rave. Irish whip now, Rave sent to the corner. Back elbow blocked, however, by the embassy member. And there is Prince Nana with a clothesline straight down. Hold on just a second. This is where the superior numbers come into play. And Jimmy Rave with the referee distracted. Snapmare by Rave. And a vicious stomp. A cover with a kick out.
You don't know how to count, huh? You don't know how to count?
Neck breaker attempt, and there it is. Jimmy Rave, basic, methodical, and infuriatingly effective. Jimmy Rave turning the tables and using that toilet paper hurled in jest against his opponent. And for a vicious right hand by Jimmy Rave.
Finish him, Jimmy. This is for you, little
Closed fist, of course. And there's a chop. The toilet paper continuing to be thrown. Fans really getting into the spirit of things. And there's a headbutt. Irish whip to the opposing buckle. Leaping knee by Rave. And Jamie Brum, my God. And that was Prince Nana. I'm convinced we saw a charging attack there, or what on earth is going on? Jamie Brum luckily kicking out, but Jimmy Rave taking him to school. Hard clubbing blow by Rave. Another headbutt. And a vicious series of shots straight to the head. And Rave looking for another cover. Jamie Brum, however, fighting back, much to the pleasure of the fans in attendance. Hard clothesline down, and another. And Jamie Brum with a back elbow. Charging in. And he gets it. Back body drop, sending Rave all the way over onto his back. Brum into the corner. Hard forearm, Irish whip. Reversed. And a knee, my goodness me. A knee missing its mark. And Jimmy Rave tumbling down to the floor. And my God, does he tumble, only to be met with a baseball slide from Jamie Brum. And he gets it all there. Fantastic work by Brum, who leaps off with a lovely crossbody press. Only for Rave to kick out at 2. Enziguri by the Brum star. And Jamie Brum with a fisherman suplex. 1, 2, and a very late kick out there. I thought Brum had put him away with that combination of moves. Irish whip now, reversed, sunset flip. Jimmy Rave rolling out, and an enormous knee to the head. And Jamie Brum kicking out at the last second as well. To be fair, Jimmy Rave turning the tide without the aid of any illegal assistance. Using that vicious knee straight to the face of Brum, wiping him out. And Jimmy Rave with a series of back elbows and a power slam there from Jamie Brum. 1, 2, and a kick out before the 3. Jamie Brum with Rave on his shoulders looking for his finishing manoeuvre he likes to call the crippleizer, but there's a spear.
That's it, finish him!
And what a spear. Brum taken straight down. And Rave surely not looking for his fin. Oh my goodness, there we go. Drilling. Jamie Brum, 1, 2, and 3. Jimmy Rave victorious against Jamie Brum. And the onslaught of toilet paper never really fully ceased. Prince Nana. And goodness me, another well-aimed shot there. The fans at Hayling have clearly been practicing their throws. Jamie Brum, sadly, going down to the obnoxious Rave. And Brum, I think, knocked a little silly there on that pedigree by Jimmy Rave.
And now for a taste of things to come.
The following tag team contest is set for one fall. Introducing first.
It is time for some tag team action. As the FWA Academy welcomes the Briscoe brothers, one of the top tag teams in Ring of Honor. They are back, they are bigger and badder than ever, and they are looking pumped up and ready to fight. Condition. Extremely tough and durable. These two wrestlers also some of the most creative and athletic tag team wrestlers you will meet, and they will be going up against the Academy's homegrown tag team of Max Voltage and Dan Head. Two old Academy favourites getting ready to go 2-on-2 with the Briscoe brothers. We've got Dan Head, ex-Academy champion, and they'll, some argue, should never have lost. We've got Max Voltage, the human dynamo, hopping up to the top rope. And these two looking psyched and ready for battle.
Introducing first, representing Ring of Honor from Sandy Fork, Delaware. At a combined weight of 420 pounds, Mark and Jay, the Briscoe brothers. And their opponents, representing the FWA Academy. First, from Portsmouth, weighing 170 pounds, he is a human dynamo, Max Voltage.
wicked reception for both Max Voltage and Dan Head.
And make a bit of noise.
And there we see the hand offered, but the Briscoes refusing. This isn't Ring of Honor now. And these two just wailing away. My God, look at the chops there on Dan Head. And hold on just a second. Max Voltage with a back body drop. And Voltage landing on his feet and scoring with a moonsault press. Dan Head with those vicious chops. Irish whip. Back elbow. Into a head scissors. And goodness me, the double Ferris wheel suplex. Irish whip. Drop kick by Voltage. And a tag into Dan Head. My goodness me, fast and furious is the pace of this tag team matchup. Irish whip to the corner. And Dan Head ringing the arm and going to work. Voltage springboarding up with ease and coming crashing down with an elbow. Ringing him down and drilling a knee straight in. Leaning over for a lateral press. And attempting to back up with a face lock straight back over. Voltage attempting to fire back. He does so, looking for an Irish whip. Drop toe hold. And my goodness me, Voltage's face taken apart with that knee. And a vault straight into a double stomp on the human dynamo, whose chest cavity may have just been caved in. The Briscoes, such an incredible and dominant tag team unit. Gut wrench suplex there. And an enormous knee drop with an amazing snap off it there from Mark Briscoe. Headbutt and Voltage collapsing in the corner. Hard fist. And the Briscoes looking so crisp and athletic. Voltage, however, firing back with an elbow. And a boot straight to the face. And my God, stomping the hell out of the Briscoe. And there we go. Tajiri handspring maneuver. Leaping into the air and straight back again. And Dan Head elbowed off, incensed. And there we see a thunderous back elbow. Snapman now. And Voltage taken over by Jay Briscoe. Viciously wrenching back the arm, contorting the head. Voltage searching for the ropes. He gets it. Tag now, and Voltage sent off again. And a thunderous double shoulder block. Voltage barely with enough time to come back, and there we see again the Briscoes cheating both feet on the middle rope, and Voltage resorting to simply crawling across the ring before being collapsed down with that knee drop. And the face of Voltage just being raped. Voltage doing all he can, but like a rag doll just being dragged. And there we have a triangle hold style head scissors of Voltage looking for a cover but taken straight back down. And oh Lord, a spit straight to the face of Dan Head. The referee in his face, ignoring the double team maneuver going on, the cheating, and Dan Head pulsating with furious rage. Voltage just about still kicking out. And we've got an Irish whip here. Double backdrop attempt. Voltage fighting back. And there's the max factor. Hold on just a minute. My God. Voltage's face driven into the mat with an ace crusher. And Dan Head breaking up that cover. And I'm not sure Voltage would have survived that. One of the most vicious reversals that I've ever seen. And what's this? Voltage positioned on the shoulders. And my Lord, flung into the air, flapjack style, and landing down on his chest. Hard elbow drop, and Voltage may be out, just about kicking out. And I think it may well be on instinct more than anything at this stage in the game. Voltage desperately searching, looking for his corner. He can barely see it. Great big brain buster. And the Briscoe brothers proving just why they are that effective a unit. Tag in, Irish whip, and a sunset flip. And Voltage switching the odds there, ducking a clothesline. And Dan Head is in the building, charging in with clotheslines and headbutts. Dan Head is a house of fire, drilling him with the headliner. A fantastic flurry there by Dan Head, dropping down with an uppercut. But being caught, and Lord Almighty, Uranagi straight onto his head. And the Briscoe brothers turning the tides with that lethal looking maneuver. Voltage still exhausted, unable to make the save. And a tag in. Springboard up and a drop kick straight down to the gut. And Voltage tagged in Dan Head. Voltage ducking underneath and dropping him down with that maneuver. 1, 2, and a kick out. Voltage exhausted, still suffering the effects of the vicious and methodical beating perpetrated by the Briscoes. There we see the double teaming again, but Voltage looking for the handspring again, caught on the shoulders. What an, oh my God! Doomsday device out of nowhere, and Dan Head breaking up the save as max Voltage may well be dead. Dan Head flung to the outside. And oh Lord, there's another one of those ringing chops from Jay Briscoe. And just a second, Dan Head in position for the cutthroat driver. And there was a top rope maneuver in store as well. Voltage crotching him, but pulling down the ropes. Dan Head looking for a superplex of some kind. Being flung down. Voltage with a drop kick straight down. Hold on just a second. Atomic drop out of nowhere. Voltage on the top rope. Unbelievable. And it's all over. Voltage and Head have picked up a huge victory against the Briscoe brothers. That blockbuster education. The exclamation point that sealed the victory. Voltage and Head victorious in the ring.
Go somewhere, get out of here.
A roller coaster, lightning-paced matchup, and the fans appreciative of their efforts.
Max and Dan, keeping it real.
The Briscoe brothers dejected, leaving with their tails between their legs. Voltage and Head stand in the ring, victorious.
The following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first.
Getting ready to enter the ring now is none other than Austin Aries, Tag Team Champion, former ROH World Champion. And another of Ring of Honor's finest competitors. Tag belt firmly in hand. And Aries receiving applause from some as he circles the ring. One of the most elite and well-conditioned athletes in the game today. Austin Aries provides unmatched intensity, fire and speed. Going against young Ollie Burns of the Entourage in what is surely one of the biggest matches in this young man's career. Here he is, Ollie Burns of the Entourage. Hayling Island native, receiving a rapturous reception from the fans, bolting into the ring as he readies himself for going one-on-one with Austin Aries.
Listen, people, I know who I am, so just shut your mouth. Introducing first on my right, representing Ring of Honor from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, weighing 202 pounds. He is one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Austin Aries. And his opponent, representing the FWA Academy, weighing 165 pounds, Hayling's own Ollie.
Austin Aries stepping into the ring. As these two lock up for the first time, and Austin Aries, by far the stronger of the two, hurling Burns back and into the corner. And Aries with that surly demeanour, in contrast to Burns' bright and flamboyant style. Waistlock by Burns. Aries attempting to sit out, Burns holding on. Aries looking for an escape route. He finds one with a wrist lock and a headlock takedown. Everything about Aries is crisp and fluid. Burns, however, latching on a head scissors. And again, pushing up onto his arms. Aries bridging up into a handstand, and goodness me, a patronising slap round the back of the head of Ollie Burns, to which Burns does not look impressed with. And Aries looking for a test of strength. Hold on just a second.
I got some baby oil on my hands. Relax.
Oh dear. Somewhat bad sportsmanship on display from Austin Aries against Burns. And Aries second guessing him, switching arms, dear oh dear. There we have it. And another. Arms locked in into an arm drag. Aries taken over with another arm drag. Irish whip reversed. Tilt-a-whirl head scissors over by Burns. Ollie Burns with a hard forearm and a drop kick, sending Aries all the way down to the floor. Burns now grabbing the ears of Aries, who's taking some time to jaw jack on the outside, but Aries, the more experienced of the two by far, dropping Burns across the throat there with a guillotine and a hard chop. on the outside. My goodness me.
Eastern apron! Huh? I didn't watch the Eastern apron!
Burns, however, back on top and smashing Aries' head into the apron before rolling him straight back into the ring.
Come on, kid.
Leap down to the outside. And Aries still staggering Burns, beating him from pillar to post.
Go on, people. That's right.
And Burns calling in from the other side. Aries down on his knees and begging for forgiveness or a timeout. Oh dear. Everyone knows there are no timeouts in wrestling, but Burns getting dropped in the stomach and sent head first into the middle turnbuckle. And what's worse is the turnbuckle looks as though it's partially down. Burns may have caught the metal and being choked out now. Hard shot across the back by Aries. Burns fighting back, but there's a knee straight to the face. 1, 2.
What do you mean, one? There's one.
And a knee again to the back. Aries so precise and so effective, latching that chin lock on as Burns is arching back. Hard series of elbows, Burns collapsing down. Hard kick. And oh dear, straight across the back. Burns in a bad way, and there's a sidewalk slam. 1, 2. Aries, so compact and muscular, with an Irish whip and a lovely back elbow, followed up by an enormous elbow drop. 1, 2, and a kick out. Body slam by Aries. And that pendulum elbow drop straight down onto Burns with a great deal of impact. A cover pushing the skull down. Arrogance and disrespect there from Aries. And another.
These people don't like you very much, do they, Ollie?
Knee directly to the spine.
Shut your mouth!
Burns, however, fighting back and beginning to fire up. Looking for a powerbomb, I believe. Blocked, and there's the backslide. 1, 2. Aries, however, cutting him straight back off. Jawbreaker, and then Inzagiri. Aries taken straight down to the floor. Clothesline now, and another, and a third. Burns is up and full of life after that jawbreaker coming off there with the bulldog. 1, 2, and a kick out. And then into the other. 1, 2, and a kick out there. Ollie Burns using that combo into a fisherman suplex, similar to his mentor, the specialist Mark Sloan. And looking for the Oliver twist, but Aries breaking out. With that propeller slam, looking for a cover, 1, 2. And Aries with his arm on the ropes.
Up top! Okay.
Burns heading up top now, but crotched. Landing very gingerly. And my lord, a drop kick straight to the head. And Burns kicking out. And Aries threatening to break Burns' neck. With an incensed look in his eye. Burns with a knee to the head. Looking for the Oliver twist. Reversed by Aries. Suplex attempt. And Burns looking for a roll up. Blocked. Kick to the gut. Aries looking for that brainbuster. And my lord, there it is. He gets it. Drilling Burns on his head. 1, 2. And Burns' leg on the ropes. I don't even know if that was Burns himself or just gravity taking its effect. Burns almost knocked senseless by that maneuver, lifted up now, and I dread to think what we could see here. Straight left hand, and Austin Aries looking for a superplex. Leaping forearm by Aries. Burns attempting to fight back. And finally doing so. Burns on the top rope. High cross body. Roll all the way through.
Don't be so blind, it's telling me all these things that you would probably hide. Am I your one and only desire? Am I the reason you breathe, or am I the reason you cry? I guess shaking in my hands, and all I hear is the sound. I love you, I hate you, I can't live without you. I breathe you, I taste you, I can't live without you. I just can't take anymore. This life of solitude. I guess that I'm out the door and that I'm done with you. I love you, I hate you, I can't live without you. I love you, I hate you, I can't live without you. I just can't take anymore. This life of solitude. I picked myself off the floor and now I'm done with you. Always, always,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Honor Academy. The following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first.
Welcome back to Honor Academy and James Tighe getting ready to compete, sliding straight into the ring.
Make a bit of noise, Hayling.
Every bit the consummate performer.
And his opponent.
James Tighe scheduled to go one-on-one with the latest competitor from Ring of Honor, BJ Whitmer. One of the most tough and resilient competitors. Also one of the largest. BJ Whitmer is a tough and imposing individual who can really go on the mat.
First on my left, representing the FWA Academy from Chichester, James Tighe. And his opponent, representing Ring of Honor from Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing 235 pounds, BJ Whitmer.
And Whitmer looking absolutely enormous. But the crowd apparently backing Tighe. And as I was mentioning, BJ Whitmer can really go on the mat. And we have also seen him in a variety of extreme and dangerous situations. This is a man who is willing to put himself through any risk life and limb to defend what he cares about and what he stands for. And Whitmer now locking up with James Tighe.
Out the corner, out the corner. 1, 2.
And Whitmer threatening a right hand, but leaving it be. These two lock up again. James Tighe spinning him round. Beautiful maneuver into a chin lock. lock reversal and a headlock and a headbutt even by BJ Whitmer. James Tighe trapped in the wrist lock. Roll through. Lovely nip up by James Tighe.
Come on, make some noise!
And Whitmer's arm trapped in the armbar by Tighe, looking for a pull of the hair of that stylish mohawk James Tighe is sporting. And BJ Whitmer searching for a reversal, rolling through, cartwheeling over, and taking Tighe down with a lovely reversal. Wrist lock again by Whitmer. James Tighe reversing underneath, blocking with his leg, breaking through, and reversing to a wrist lock of his own. We've got a clean break in the corner, but Whitmer back in, and vicious forearms. Just listen to that impact. Irish whip in now. Shot block, and an arm drag by Tighe. Make that a pair, and a third. And Whitmer bailing to the outside as James Tighe receives the applause of the fans. And Whitmer perhaps maybe underestimating Tighe a little in the opening minutes of this bout. Whitmer taking his time on the outside.
Back him up, keep him back. Keep him back.
And a very tentative Whitmer stepping into the ring. And after all that stalling, a kick to the gut and a rake to the eyes. Whitmer dispensing with the frivolities and getting straight in to the meat of this matchup, going low. And there a vicious back elbow to Tighe. James Tighe kicking out again. And another enormous forearm. You can just hear the flesh on flesh. Suplex and a cover by Whitmer. James Tighe kicking out at 2. A grounded headlock by Whitmer. James Tighe looking to get the fans behind him. Attempting to work his way up and out. But James Tighe's hair pulled straight back down to the mat.
He's been pulling my hair all match, ref.
You haven't put in your ass.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Whitmer making some wild accusations about Tighe. A chop to the chest. And another. But James Tighe firing back with shots aplenty, only to be taken out with an eye rake by Whitmer. Breaking the rules with abandon. Lovely leg lariat, but James Tighe taken down again. 1, 2, and a kick out.
Come on now. Come on. Come on, ref. Shut up.
Irish whip now. James Tighe with a series of kicks, an uppercut, and a charging clothesline, firing back and taking Whitmer down to the mat. Irish whip reversed. And Tighe hopping up with a runner out of nowhere. Charging double knee. Double underhook suplex. And James Tighe fighting on. The crowd behind him. Lifting Whitmer to his feet. Another pair of Europeans. And there's a third. Tighe charging off the ropes. Only to be taken over. And a kick out.
Come on, Raf. It's 2. That was 3.
BJ Whitmer, a big proponent of that exploder suplex he likes to use. And suplex reversed into a lovely German by James Tighe. James Tighe holding on, pulling Whitmer all the way over. And a great big release German. James Tighe, 1, 2, and a kick out. Just about Tighe fighting back with those maneuvers, but as I've said, BJ Whitmer has the insane ability to absorb so much punishment and keep on fighting. It's absolutely unreal. And Tighe up top with a moonsault straight to the back of BJ Whitmer. Whitmer attempting to roll out of the way, and James Tighe grasping his arm and rolling to the outside. I think Tighe may have hurt himself on that maneuver. Got Tighe breathing hard and checking his elbow and joints. Not sure whether Tighe will be able to continue. I didn't see quite what happened. I believe BJ Whitmer attempting to dodge the moonsault. James Tighe attempting to land on Whitmer, and that arm really does appear dead. Whitmer back in the ring. And a lovely high angle suplex by Whitmer. 1, 2, James Tighe kicking out again. And Whitmer looking for the exploder, but James Tighe taking him out with a lovely cover there. But Tighe really suffering. You can see that arm. And Whitmer again, I believe, looking for the exploder suplex. James Tighe keen to avoid it. Again, Tighe fighting for the ropes. Good Lord, landing on the back of his head. And that is all. James Tighe taken down with the exploder. BJ Whitmer's hands raised, and despite several unsportsmanlike moments, he really did take James Tighe for a ride. But then again, Tighe may well have an injury of some kind to that arm. We'll keep you updated on that. But Tighe looking in a great deal of pain. I'm pretty sure it came directly after that moonsault attempt. Tighe grasping at his arm and leaving the ring defeated. A round of applause from the fans, for whom he still has a place in their hearts. But Tighe heading to the back to get some serious medical treatment.
Got this match, Right, Mush, little story for you. Me and Tommy Langford are off on missions down the offie the other day, when I get the call on the old bar from some geezer saying I'm booked against Roderick Strong on the ROH Academy show. Now I ain't got a Scooby who this geezer is. So I thought I'd do a little bit of research myself.
Yeah, I saw that thing.
Cheers, mate. Right. Roderick Strong, current co-owner of the ROH Tag Team Championships. Not bad, I suppose. Right, isn't it? Messiah of the Backbreaker. Claims to have over 20 different variations of the Backbreaker. Now, I think you've got this a bit wrong, because I think it's you who needs to watch your back when we find out how strong you really are. You claim you need 20 variations of the Backbreaker to put me away. All I need is the left. Sorry. Good night.
That's it, Mush. Sorted.
The following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first.
This is a fucking bomb. For a few seconds, this place was Armageddon. That was a firefight!
Roderick Strong, the other half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion. Slapping hands as he makes his way out to take on Harry Mills, whom we saw make that controversial statement earlier in the night. Roderick Strong, one of Ring of Honor's most high-profile wrestlers, and of course he is known as the Messiah of the Backbreaker and the master of the skin-shredding chop. However, this evening, thankfully for the first time in the night, and hopefully for the last, the Chavs music is playing, and Harry Mills is making his way out. This detestable faction, which now sadly includes Dan James, Academy champ. The Chavs swarming the ring as they do. The Chavs not quite adept at making friends, and new addition Haskins, former referee, looking ever so pleased with himself.
Introducing first on my left, representing Ring of Honor. From Tampa, Florida, weighing 215 pounds, he is one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Roderick Strong. And his opponent, representing the FWA Academy, weighing 175 pounds, from Somerstown in Portsmouth,
and for the first time ever, Harry Mills billed as representing the FWA Academy. Of course, those aren't his ideals, and that's not what he stands for. He is a vile, loudmouth, rule-breaking chav. But Harry Mills, to his credit, looks ready to do battle against Roderick Strong. And these two lock up. And Roderick Strong looking for one of those ear-splitting chops. Harry Mills with the good sense at least to duck. Mills is a man who we have seen do many, many reckless things, and goodness me, the hat is off early. Mills means business. Tripped by Strong. And Strong segueing to a front face lock. Mills searching for a way out, which he finds and latches on a hammerlock a tight rear waist lock. Taken down into an arm drag.
He's on the rope, he's on the rope. Let go. 1, 2.
Thomas, you got the rope, get off it!
Mills now looking for a test of strength, I believe.
Shut up! Shut up, red, mate. What you on about? Yeah, come on, then.
And Mills bridging straight up but being taken back down. Bridging up again. And Roderick strong. Latching on a hammerlock there. And taking Mills down into a schoolboy variant. Lovely manoeuvre. And the armbar is back on. Hard knee by Strong, and there is the first of the chops, and a vicious forearm as well. Enormous chop. Another chop from Strong, and a kick out. And a backbreaker from Strong, who knows so many variations. It's not even funny. And a kill the jab chant ringing out. And Roderick Strong doing just so with a vicious chop and forearm. Double underhook suplex. Another vicious chop and forearm, and another Roderick Strong charging but being taken down by a clothesline from Mills. Irish whip, and Strong hitting the turnbuckle with force. And Mills responding, my God, with chops and forearms of his own. This young man is deeply disturbed, but not to be intimidated by anyone. Another hard forearm. And Strong firing back. Mills knocked down. And again. A vicious blow to the back as well. Strong's chops ringing out like gunfire. And a superb standing belly-to-belly suplex. Suplex now, but Mills landing on his feet. And a lung blower dropping down. 1, 2, and a kick out there by Strong. A knee drop and another. Mills with a third.
It's all me.
But just as Mills gets complacent, Strong lights his chest back up. And those chops really getting the work done. Chop ducked. And a rake to the eyes. Mills claiming innocence. But Strong's on the outside now. And just a second, Harry Mills distracting the referee with some minor inconvenience. And oh, that's absolutely ridiculous, the amount of rule breaking the Chavs will stoop to. James and Skins.
Try and get her on that.
Much, wait, I don't think he did it properly. Come on.
Oh, look, what about this one?
Oh, surely not. Strong doing his best to fight back. Sunset flip, 1, 2, and a kick out. Hard forearm, and another in the corner. Harry Mills not afraid to fire in with some vicious manoeuvres himself, but there, a backbreaker variant, crushing the spine of Mills into 1,000 little pieces. Jawbreaker from Strong. And Mills back down. Another chop. I'm surprised Mills' chest is not bleeding yet. And Strong with that lovely fall away slam. Irish whip. And a lovely elevation on the drop kick. 1, 2, and Mills kicks out again. Reverse DDT by Mills, 1, 2, and a kick out. And hold on just a second, Strong with the fireman's gutbuster. What a maneuver, and a vicious Yakuza kick to the head, 1, 2. And Harry Mills with the resolve to kick out. Strong looking for a manoeuvre of some description there, but Mills reversing and scoring with the DDT off the shoulders. Surely not, 1, 2. And Harry Mills gets the job done with a low blow and that DDT. Harry Mills getting the Duke over Roderick Strong in what has to be considered something of an upset. But as is always the way with the Chavs, the odds were stacked up against their opponent, and Strong had to contend with double teaming and cheating galore. Nevertheless, another tick in the win column of the FWA Academy, and a big time victory for Harry Mills.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our main event. The following contest is set for one fall, introducing first.
We now ready ourselves for this evening's main event as Mark Sloan takes on the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. The head trainer of the FWA Academy versus the Ring of Honor World Champion. Mark Sloan, leader of the Entourage. Looking extremely focused as he steps into the ring. And there he is, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. One of the very, very best wrestlers in the world today. An unparalleled athlete and technician within the ring. Slapping hands and looking in magnificent condition as he makes his way around the ring. This is a non-title matchup, but the Ring of Honor Championship is wrapped around his waist, a belt that he has earned and fought for over the months.
Introducing first on my left, representing the FWA Academy, from Fratton in Portsmouth, weighing 180 pounds, he is the specialist, Mark Sloan! And his opponent, representing Ring of Honor, from Aberdeen, Washington, weighing 185 pounds, he is the current reigning Ring of Honor World Champion, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson!
And a rousing ovation for this main event matchup. Mark Sloan looking across the ring at Bryan Danielson. Danielson, of course, formerly a head trainer at the Ring of Honor training school. And these two men circling each other, poised to lock up. And there we see the fingers interlaced, and Dragon bullying Mark into the corner, into the ropes rather. Another collar and elbow tie at Mark Sloan, pushing Danielson into the corner. And again, Mark Sloan now rolling backwards and reversing into a wrist lock. Such pure athletic competition between these two, and that's really something Bryan Danielson brings to his matches. You know you're witnessing a technician in the purest sense of the word. And a lovely head spring reversal there by Danielson. Who reverses into a hammerlock, takes Sloan down. Sloan twisting out. And Mark Sloan looking at first for a trip, then for a roll-up. Unable to obtain either. In the end, forcing to relinquish the hold. And of course, a lot of that can be attributed to the massive and massively strong legs of Bryan Danielson. They're like tree trunks, and Danielson is incredibly well conditioned, of course, performing hundreds of squats and things prior to a matchup. He was witnessed in the arena skipping 4 hours before the show even began. Bryan Danielson is a man who takes pro wrestling incredibly seriously, but Mark Sloan there is a man for whom intricate reversals are something he knows extremely well, as we see there twisting round. And Danielson backing Mark Sloan back up into the corner one more time. We're going to see a clean break, and we've got it. Danielson breaking off with one arm, rolling back and taking Mark Sloan down with a top wrist lock into an arm drag and applying some pressure to that wrist, rolling all the way through into a wrist lock. Mark Sloan with a trip and switching from leg to arm smoothly. American Dragon with a head scissors. Mark Sloan attempting to find a way out. He does so with pressure applied to Bryan Danielson's legs and switching straight back up to that wrist lock. Arm drag, but Mark Sloan holding on. And Danielson going straight back over onto his back.
Come on,
Beautiful back and forth wrestling by these two men. Mark Sloan now with the hammerlock on. Dragon reversing. And Mark Sloan looking for the wrist lock. Dragon landing on his feet again, but this time Mark Sloan with a drop kick to the outside. Sloan grabbing a drink of water from his ever-present entourage. By saying that, he has of course elected to compete this match solo, man on man, with the American Dragon. The man who has just blocked his drop toe hold attempt. Mark Sloan searching for a way out, but Dragon taking him all the way round. A man who has ever so creative ways to punish you, to twist you, and to tweak your body in ways it really shouldn't go. Mark Sloan looking for a drop toe hold. Dragon sidestepping, but now caught in that roll-up. Mark Sloan has been looking for another cover attempt. Mark Sloan being taken down, and Dragon bending and stretching that leg. Dragon very much the master of his craft, folding both legs round. And leaning down on the tendons of the legs, stretching them and bending them. And looking for the arms for a Mexican surfboard. And he gets it. Mark Sloan lifted into the air, but dropping straight back down into a cover. However, now the legs of Danielson wrapped around Mark Sloan. Almost akin to a bear hug with the legs, but Sloan now using what pressure he can to break it. Very clever from Sloan, not attempting to outpower the far larger Dragon. Looking for the rear chin lock to go with the leg lace. Dragon instead flipping Mark over by one arm and wrenching that arm back around the socket. Sloan having no option other than to roll to the outside, attempt to recuperate. But American Dragon's pace, ever so slow and methodical, but incredibly detailed. There is never a moment where this man gets complacent. There is never a moment where the opponent can second guess the Dragon. This is a versatile professional wrestler who is always on his game and ready to twist his opponent's body in unimaginable shapes. Mark Sloan back in the ring now, getting ready to lock up. A Greco-Roman knuckle lock. Mark Sloan overpowered. And a lovely drop kick from Dragon. Sloan's wrist now twisted. Dragon stepping over, twisting the arm. And Mark Sloan finally with a drop toe hold, floating over, only to be taken round. And Dragon carefully picking apart the joint. And he's got it folded there. Attempting to leave it be, I think, folding it under. And good lord, dropping a knee. Vicious maneuver. Really pulling apart the arm of Mark Sloan. And of course, and again wrenching it. This sort of thing can come in handy when looking for that submission maneuver he favours, dubbed the cattle mutilation. Mark Sloan searching for a way out, managing to execute a nip up, and Dragon looking to overbalance him, instead dropping down into an arm drag. The crowd showing their support as Mark Sloan ducks underneath and comes out with a wrist lock on Dragon. Pressuring him down, but Dragon cunningly reversing round into almost a rear waist lock position. And there's the takeover. Again, that arm twisted and contorted. Mark Sloan bridging up off the mat. Danielson putting his weight on, but again, Sloan with a bridge. And a monkey flip. Danielson rolling over, but a cover attempt. Danielson rolling all the way to the outside. And hold on just a second, I think Danielson may have clipped his knee or something. I didn't see quite what happened on the rollout. Danielson favouring that leg, limping a little bit. And a show of sportsmanship from Mark Sloan. The fans fully appreciative of the efforts of both these men who go to lock up again. And Mark Sloan going for that single leg takedown, looking for a single leg Boston Crab perhaps. The leg bent over. And Mark Sloan finally managing to fold those legs of Dragon's over. Dragon still attempting to trip him. Mark Sloan dropping straight back down and abruptly applying the pressure. And a lovely stretch from the specialist now. In fact, there we see Mark Sloan leaning back.
Alright, run through your left hand up.
Sloan back up on his feet, limping, but the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, dragging himself to his feet in the corner. And Danielson there looking for an armbar, perhaps. No, looking for the cattle mutilation. And Sloan wisely heading for the hills. A lethal submission maneuver that should be avoided at all costs. Dragon taking him down with the maneuver we saw Mark Sloan employ earlier in the match. Both these men knowing each other inside and out. And Mark Sloan switching intricately to the leg, attempting to fold it over and apply the pressure to Danielson. And Danielson flung back to the mat multiple times.
Come on.
Danielson, however, refusing to submit, but taking Mark Sloan over into an excruciatingly painful submission maneuver, leaning on those legs, and Mark Sloan flailing for the ropes and reversing back up, reapplying the pressure to Danielson. And in the end, it is Danielson who makes the ropes. Sloan rolling Danielson to his feet. Irish whip. Danielson ducking over, spinning round and looking for the cattle mutilation. Mark Sloan with a drop toe hold, however. Spinning over into a cover attempt. Looking for another cover. Danielson with that consummate wrestler's bridge. Irish whip. Danielson managing to vault over. And a German suplex. 1, 2. Unbelievable German suplex. And a dragon suplex attempt. Mark Sloan breaking out and looking for a sunset flip. A series of covers reversed. Oh, straight into another. Mark Sloan with a sunset flip attempt. Both men exchanging covers. Mark Sloan driven into the ropes. And there's the tidal wave kick. Goodness me, my God. Mark Sloan on the top rope, but Danielson firing off with a drop kick, sending him straight down to the floor. Danielson lifting the specialist up to the top rope. Sloan looking for a rope break. Danielson fighting on. Both men on the top strand. My goodness me. Enormous superplex for the 2 count only. Danielson looking for the cattle mutilation. Mark Sloan attempting to bridge off with his head. Danielson bridging over. He's got it locked in. Mark Sloan refusing to submit. Danielson taking him over into a cover. 1, 2, and 3. Danielson with a victory.
The winner of the match, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
Danielson with a victory. Grasping that knee once more. And what a finish to what a main event. And what a show. The stars of Ring of Honor making their presence felt. And in the main event, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, with a victory over the head trainer at the FWA Academy, Mark Sloan, in a hard-fought, gritty, technical matchup. And that enormous superplex. Bryan Danielson, the embodiment of professional wrestling. Standing in the ring and paying his respects to Mark Sloan, raising his hand as Sloan leaves the ring, defeated, but not before putting Danielson through a very hard-fought contest. The Ring of Honor champion with a smile on his face after that victory. The fans applauding. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for being here for FWA Honor Academy. It's been a pleasure having you, and we'll see you all same time next month.
Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something